No man has the right to be an amateur in a mass of physical training. And it's a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. Train like a stallion. This is the frame we're gonna work on today and how this is gonna help you throughout your life. Jumping in part 1, finding the main reason. There must be a reason for every action you do, for every behavior you take. And you must find this reason when it comes about training. If you don't train, maybe this video will open your eyes to some things you're missing. And the only reason you're not training is because you don't have a reason for training. At times, there could be no reason for this, and you simply train. Just because you exist, just because you have the gym close to you, or some other stupid reason, but you must find the reason. And we have point number 1, train for yourself. You must train for nobody else, but for yourself. Remember, you have a soul, and this soul is living in this body. Your body is aging, but you need to understand that you can prolong the health of it. Basically, you're helping yourself by helping the body, because you live in the body. If this is your vehicle, then you'd better train and make that blood move, and also train properly to look good, not just feel good. And remember this investment, you train for yourself. You look good and you will feel good. These are the 2 main reasons that go unconsciously without even discussing about discipline or having training at the identity level. So there is loads of benefits, and one of the biggest is discipline we've talked about. But discipline is just at the beginning until you get the train moving. You use about 80% discipline and the rest 20% is just identity, which is gonna be flipped. It will be 80% identity, you train because that's where you are, and 20% is just to keep yourself on track whenever you slacking from time to time. But the more you invest in something, the harder it is to back up. So if you start training now, in 10 years time, you will have a hard time quitting, because now you have a relationship that's not on paper, it's just between you and yourself. So again, you train for yourself. You can't have anybody else do the work for you in the gym. You will have to wake up, go there, and come back home knowing you've achieved a mission for that day. This is how it goes, and it compounds. This is what people miss. People just look at themselves short term, but look at yourself long term. Especially when we're talking about training, physical training. You might not be in a great shape, but you train for yourself. And that might not mean a good shape. Again, I'm saying it. It might mean I'm training because I'm a disciplined man and I want to get my blood flowing. I want to have a routine where I move. Because we as people, the default is to move and run around. In other words, to hunt, because we've evolved from that. But the body adapted slowly to the society and the living conditions where comfort is skyrocketing and the level of movement is low. So it will pay you many dividends if you start training as early as possible. And when we're talking about training, you're gonna train for life, as you will see. And remember, the point here being you train for yourself, and nobody else can do this work for you but yourself. Point number 2, you must have a reason. I train for no reason, so be absurd with it. Check with your meaning, check with your hope. This reason might appear later. This is what you need to understand. There must be a reason for which you do something. For any behavior you have, there is a personal benefit. We're not talking about values now. We're not talking about discipline. We're simply talking about a reason to start if you're not, and a reason to keep going if you're going to the gym. So the 2 main drivers of human behavior, as Tony Robbins said, is pleasure and pain. We run away from pain and we go to get pleasure, in other words. Knowing this dynamic, now we see clearly why people don't go to the gym, why the gyms are not packed, and why the majority sits at home and do just minimal work with their body. So knowing that we run away from pain, trying to get pleasure, you need to step in consciously and break away the dopamine and the lifestyle you've had and start training like a man. You gotta take yourself seriously. And again, you want to look long term. You're not going to see results overnight. You need to have this in mind. Results are not going to show up overnight. So you got to take this habit for life. But to do so, you got to find a reason to start before this transforms into who you are, your identity. And so with this in mind, I will ask you to find a proper reason, because you don't want to start and quit after that. It's just like trying to start something and then halfway through you stop. That's not how you achieve anything great in life, because you need trial and error to achieve mastery, to achieve success or your goal to a certain degree, or at least a lesson, some understanding, some experience. But if you stop halfway through, there is no understanding, there is unclarity, there is fog. So what's best to do in there, if you know the thing is serving you, you gotta keep going. But for that, again, find the reason, because you're not gonna get away from the inertia of pleasure and of the everyday comfort unless you detach from the old ways of being and you actually look yourself in the eyes, and then you take yourself and you go to the gym. You set yourself a routine. You're going to have a different lifestyle after that. You'll have new friends. You will have a new routine. You will have something to prioritize. You'll prioritize yourself, and that's very good. So find the reason. And a hint here for you, this reason must be emotional. And then you pair this with discipline. Discipline is basically your duty. Your duty comes from your responsibility. It's not something you want to do, just like brushing your teeth, washing your dishes. Same with training. So find that reason for which you must do it. And you will, because it's not easy. Other people have this as an everyday lifestyle. So why not you? Point number 3. Before you like it, you must invest months of daily training. When I say daily, I'm also including your rest days. So you're still good. Before you like it. So the point here being, before you like it. Look, there is loads of things in life that require you to prepare in advance for them. Training must be part of that. When you wake up in the morning and you have to do your obligations, you might not necessarily like them. And that's because life happens and you will have to be prepared for everything. That's fine. But try to understand that some people, some of us are in survival mode. They simply react to life. They have no degree of self-control or a degree of controlling others, which is the next stage for their evolution from survival to dominion over others, stemming from their ego. So what needs to be done is you need to consider the fact that you hate something and yet you do it because you know it pays more dividends than you can't get with your 2 hands. So here you need to consider the dynamic that before you like something, you must weigh the benefits. It's got more benefits, so you prepare in advance for that thing. Even if you don't like it, again, we're not talking about emotions because we're men. But some of us are still men and yet they employ emotions in their decisions. No, I want you to be detached and go by the feel. If you want to feel powerful, you must go to the gym. But the point being here, you prepare constantly for something, especially reactive people. Take conscious control of your life and prepare for training in the gym. As simple as that. You prepare because you have loads of benefits. End of point number 3. Part 2. Passion will always appear after return on investment. Point number 1. Be prepared to pay the price. The price of waiting. What to do when waiting. Create a fantasy until you don't need it. Inspire yourself with other people's work and results. What we need to understand here, I'd be prepared to pay the price. And that's the price of waiting. And what to do when waiting. We're going to talk about these now. Let's take the price of waiting. Your time is passing anyway. In 10 years' time, those 10 years will pass anyway. So you decide if you train now, if you start training now, and in 10 years you're going to see the results. You're going to wait either way. And remember, on the time, if you put energy in not going to the gym, you're going to put that energy into something else. That something else also compounds. So whether you go to the gym or not, the time will still pass. As soon as you understand this, it's worth considering closer the seriousness of this discussion. And I'm making it serious because time is passing. This is the coin you don't understand. This is something you don't see. And so what to do when waiting? You prepare and you train. Don't overload yourself. Another important thing you need to remember. Don't overload yourself in the gym at first. You need to get the train moving first. You need to become the person before you can go into advanced. Look, personally, I train with YouTube. So you don't need expensive gear. You don't need anything. Everything is out there. The gym has all the equipment you need. The information is on YouTube. And then after that, you gotta feel your way through it, you know? You will learn as the time progresses. Even after 5 years of going to the gym, I'm still learning. Various techniques and all that. But I'm going. That's the difference. You gotta do the same. It's easier than you think. What else to do when you're investing in yourself by going to the gym is to create a fantasy until you don't need it anymore. What's this fantasy? This is the story you tell yourself. The reason. That's something you're running away from. I run away from weakness. Yours can be something else. A buried trauma or something, you know? A defeat in a relationship, like a woman leaving you or something. Or a moment of weakness in your life where you felt the worst and weak, or a fight or something. An event that really triggered you becoming stronger. And you really took that seriously, you know? Same with martial arts. Same goes. All of these creative stuff and everything that great people of history have created comes from a bad thing happening to them. I and you would not be the same people we are today if we didn't go through hardships. So about this, you need to create the fantasy, because the event, the trauma, what happened to us to make us train is outside of our control. But the fantasy, that is the meaning we give, the story we tell ourselves, can come from within. For example, I train to have a beautiful woman just like me who's gonna train like me, and we're both gonna look good. And it's this synergy. We can complement each other. you know? We can come together like two pieces of a puzzle. This is what I'm saying. And with this fantasy in somebody's mind, it can act as a catalyst. It can act as the spark that person needs to go ahead. So please craft for yourself a story like this. It will give you so much energy. Or make sure you do it so you can understand it. Next, we have inspire yourself with other people's work and results. The best way to go about this is to have pictures of other bodybuilders. I like to have pictures from the neck down without seeing the face because I'm not interested in. But just so I can get the vibe, the energy, and the feel of strength and power other people have about themselves, you know, and the aura. From pictures, I'm talking, on my phone. You can go on Pinterest and find pictures there, nice pictures. I want you to be open-minded and treat this just like an exercise. I don't want you to be delusional or be under a paradigm or under a directive given by society. What I'm saying, you do this just with the purpose of growing yourself and nothing else, no other reason, for sake. And this is perfectly fine to serve as inspiration. Okay, so take pictures and have them in your phone and go to gym. The information is on YouTube. Take pictures, save them, and say, I'll have this body. You can look at them daily, weekly, but just look at them. Look at videos. They will be inspiring. Your conscious mind and your subconscious mind will come together because you give the images, you give the feel of strength and power, something your subconscious mind misses, and it will turn you into an autopilot, disastrous training stallion that can actually sleep in the gym. Well, that's the extreme, but still, it's better than dreaming your way through life without being aware of your true potential and what you can do under this time. That's passing anyway. Number 2, it will not be easy at first. Aim to scare yourself with regret of going through life without training and being skinny or fat. These are the two extremes, skinny or fat. There is nothing wrong with them, but you can choose to make the most of your body. It's as simple as that. Every physical body is different, but you must train it, because the older you get, you gotta be in shape. If you're skinny, you're gonna have more definition. If you're fat, you're gonna maintain that, but your strength and your blood flow will be different than other fat people. And you will slowly understand how your body works. This is another part, how your body works, because it works in cycles. We're not talking about bulk and cut. We're talking about specific metabolic patterns of each individual, given the current lifestyle. Of course, this can change, and it varies from gender to sex and the level of training you undertake. But this is what I'm saying. It's all changeable. And if it's changeable, it's doable. Just gotta find the reason and understand that it will be hard at first. Nothing is easy at first. It can be easy, but what's easy is gonna soon be turned into boredom, and you don't want that. And in the long run, you might be boredom in the gym, but you can always find a new exercise and spice things up for you. There will always be challenges. So what you want to take from this point, you don't want to go through life without training, especially if you're a man. You got to be well defined, because when people look at you, they see the degree of respect you give yourself, and based on this and the fact that they analyze if they can be a friend with you, how you treat them and how you treat yourself, they will respect you back, and they will open or not doors for you. And this is crucial. Train, because it reflects what you have in mind before opening your mouth. And before you open your mouth, you're speaking more than 1,000 words already, and that's heavy. 3, be hard on yourself. Like earning your living, you must show up. Like having good teeth, one must brush them. This should have been an old Chinese proverb, you know. In a way, it's making me laugh because I came up with this, but it's the truth. Nobody wants to brush their teeth. Like what I'm saying here is that passion comes after. And if passion comes after, you will need to train, simply. And that might include being hard on yourself a bit, just for a while. If it doesn't work, take a step back, but just understand the momentum. You're gonna struggle with stuff. Stuff is not gonna be easy at first. You will struggle to maintain the momentum. And in order for you to maintain the momentum, you'll have to take it slowly, step by step. It's like a step ladder. Don't take 3 steps. Like you don't go for the first month or the first year and spend 2 hours in the gym. No, you gotta take it like 15 minutes, 30 minutes with cardio or something. Something light, because you want to maintain the momentum. That momentum builds the identity. It's not going to work otherwise, especially if you haven't stepped in a gym in your entire life. So now that you understand this, you can be hard on yourself, because you are hard on yourself by making yourself going to the gym. But once you're there, you just spend 15 minutes on the treadmill. Spend those 15 minutes either lifting some dumbbells, either playing with some equipment, and that's it. You do this for the first week, second, third, first, second month, and then you slowly begin to shape the identity. And this is how you do it. So when I say be hard on yourself, just wake up and go to the gym. Just like you go to work, just like you go to your place of business, just like you go to school, just like you go where you have to go. You have to go to the gym as well. It's part of the necessary duty as men. What I'm saying is the package, as you will see in a bit, that we must maintain and pay rent for all the time. And so accept this price. And again, and I'm saying it here, if you want your life to be easy, be hard on yourself. And you do this at first before your life gets hard on you. Bar number 3, you're a man, act like one. This is deep, man. Because if you look around you, the reality is different from how people dress to how they behave. It's fine. I have nothing to do with this. I might be an old school man, as one of my women said. And that's fine with me. As long as I maintain my side of manhood, as long as I'm that classy man, as she said I am, then let me be that way. If that serves me, and if that's my truth, then let me be with that. So if you're a man, act like one. Doesn't matter how you come across. And with regards to our video, training is part of a man's lifestyle and principles. It's part of the same package of taking risks and being at peace with defeat. There is also a quote from Napoleon here. Death is nothing but to live defeated, and inglorious is to die daily. So we see clearly that training is part of the package of taking risks and being at peace with defeat. There is really no defeat other than death or physical destruction. Everything else is just software. What's hardware is different. Hardware is your body. Software is your thoughts, your emotions and all that. As long as the problem is not hardware related, in our analogy, then software can always reset, can always swap, can always change, can be affected, but it's really not the ultimate defeat. You still have chances to try again, I'm saying, and you must consider this. So training is software at base. But to make yourself go to the gym, to change the hardware, with other words, your body and your physical configuration, to make yourself custom, with other words, you will have to combine the two. We're not talking about taking risks, because taking risks involves events outside our control. We're talking about a direct control over our body and immediate actions. And we have point number 1. Take more risks. You will only be scared to lose when you attribute importance to things you value. Other people want to get rid of things because they're not important to them. Look what a nice point we have here. Take more risks because the thing you consider risky is a daily normality for somebody who takes that so-called risk that you consider risk. And it's only a risk because you project importance. When you attribute importance to things, you value them, even though in an objective way, the reality is different. So you're only scared to lose when you project too much importance on something. But remember, I want you to reverse engineer this from the position of somebody that already has that thing, that already has done that thing, that experience and all that, and look downwards from there. That risk is not a risk at all, man. It's something they see daily, and they have an intuitive mastery of going about it to do it to the best of their ability, and they do it unconsciously. That's intuitive mastery. Intuitive mastery, because when you reach that level, the thing you're scared or afraid of now, when we're talking about you're a man, act like a man, drop the importance of the things you do and try doing them then. But again, this is an error. Don't try, but just do, because you will learn far more. And again, when you directly control your body and you tell it what to do, it will obey you. And when you do this, when it comes about any disease or stuff you don't understand about yourself, it will be way easier to cope and understand yourself. So it's part of self-mastery, this training, because it's a mind over matter dynamic, where you will always succeed. We're talking about software over hardware dynamic in a way. So drop the importance and just do that thing. You will either learn or win. There is no losing in this game, but more self-mastery. And the more refined you do things when you take risks, the better you are at succeeding. This is a core principle of life. We're talking about survival of the fittest. And again, be responsible. Point number 2, relationships, money making and training must be in equilibrium. This is the package you must work on, and the way is there. Everything else are excuses based on your upbringing. Change them by allowing yourself to lose and accepting yourself. Wow, this is big. So you already have problems around these things. You wished things be perfect or at least different than what they are. The good news is that you can change this. You can change it the moment you take on responsibility. Responsibility means to accept the results of other people's actions only when they interact with you. When you are directly or indirectly involved. When you accept the responsibility for this kind of dynamic, then you know you're fully matured. Until then, you still have to work on. If somebody cuts you off in traffic, then that's because of you. Why? You left home. Start from there. Blame yourself. Don't blame the government. Don't blame the weather. Blame yourself. Accept responsibility for the things you can't control. Why? Because you exist and you are a man. I might be wrong with this. You might be whining and complaining. That's fine. But when it comes about you, and by the way, this reflects something more deeper. There is something learned here. So watch out. Be careful with that. Where you project that onto other people and trying to get away from being responsible. That's very huge. So to wrap this up, is just accept responsibility for everything you do. So relationships, money making, and training must be in equilibrium. And when I say equilibrium, it means that you gotta work on this. The point here being, everything is out there. You just gotta go and get it. In this process, you must provide value for society, for people. You can't get something for nothing. You gotta be in service. So when you make money, when you train yourself, when you look after your relationships, when you invest that capital, then you have the right to ask for these things. But remember, by simply being someone, feeling that you're entitled to these things, you will get them without working for them. There is a secret door for this, and that is do at all times what feels good in here. That's the secret of not working for the things you deserve by nature, because you were born rich, as Bob Proctor said in his book. Point number 3, train for life. You will die one day. Wake up now, because if you exist, you are a cause. Accept this and aim for the highest ideal you can envision, accepting to never achieve it, and that's when you will. Again, we're talking about your time. It's very valuable. Now, I hope you have a glimpse of what you have to do, and training must be part of you because your time is passing day by day. It's same for everyone. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. Some people train, some don't. People only see events. They don't see the process behind it. You will not only impress people, and by the way, you don't train to impress people. You train for yourself, for your long-term health and stability from all points of view. Train for yourself. And if people only see events, then that's for them to see. You lived the process. That's more rewarding. That's something you can't trade. You can't trade the time, the money, the nothing. That's how it goes. And this is way powerful because you can speak through the power of your own example. If you have a proper body, you can talk about having a proper body and how to instruct others and all that. But even if you're starting and still you got some experience, that's something you gotta reward yourself in a way for it. You gotta take yourself for granted that you are already the person who's actually doing the hard work at the right time, right? And people, you're not interested in how they perceive you. You're interested in how you perceive yourself, because people have flaws and their own problems. So look after yourself first. And if you exist, you are a cause. What does it mean? It means that the moment you were born in this world, you have the right to get stuff that's truly yours by the way you feel about those things. And you will have to discover the means to get them. And you will also have to remember that you're here to master your own individuality, to master your survival, to make your way through life as frictionless as possible. In this process, you will be choosing to do hard things, but you do it for a purpose. Remember the dynamic that people run away from pain and want to get closer to pleasure. This is going to happen every moment of your waking life. So that shows you that you exist. And if you exist, why not pay the price and go over the top and accept the things and do them properly and do it with so much intensity and power, because you can achieve anything you put your mind to. So the point here being, aim for the highest ideal you can envision. While you do this, you got to accept the possibility of never achieving it. And this is very important because when you're detached, the universe will get you what you want. And this is a paradox because the things you can't control run on this dynamic. Lastly, keep it simple. You want to keep things simple at the beginning and throughout your routine. You want to train, but just be consistent. This is something that ChatGPT says all the time. If you ask ChatGPT, how do I cope with discipline and all that? It will say to you, consistency is key. Something I gotta say is true. Consistency is key, but the real key is simplicity. Because if you have simplicity in how you do things, you have efficiency. Efficiency is higher than consistency. If you do something efficient, but you're not consistent, the only drawback will be the passing of time. But if you are consistent and not efficient, the passing of time can take place, but you will never improve, never achieve mastery in anything. So be consistent and efficient. And sooner or later, you will see people saying, yo, you look good, man. That day will come. But don't aim for that day, because that day should never come. Don't look for that day, because you train for yourself only. And that's how you achieve the greatest of the greatest results you can ever be capable of. When you never give up and you wake up and you go to gym, you can achieve what you want. So in the end, I'm talking from experience. I might not have the best body, but I'm working on it. It's all a work in progress. I have to do this, but yeah, it's all a work in progress. There is no reason for me to train anymore other than I like to. But that's who I am. If I stop training, I will suffer the concept of death. And I'm talking about the ego here. But it's also the nervous system that already knows what to do when I step into the gym and all that. So in conclusion, it's just a lifestyle, man. It's part of looking after yourself, how much you love yourself. Because if you love yourself properly to a large degree, then you will be willing to give up the bad stuff and take on the good habits and everything in between. Everything that that person has and must do to achieve and be and do that person, you know? But it's all doable and it's all changeable. If you don't understand how to change yourself, despite how hard it is, seek for the answer. Try everything. There must be a way. As long as you got a desire to change, as long as you envision for yourself a future where you see yourself skinny or with just the right amount of fat and all that on your body or properly defined and all that, then there is a way. Just find it. If you are not like me to work with YouTube and you need a personal trainer, then go get that. But when you start out, just go by yourself, man. Because look, consider this perspective. If you want to go for a lifetime to the gym, you don't need a trainer for a lifetime. You want to become a trainer, train somebody else. So for that, you need knowledge. For that, there is YouTube. And when you think about things in this perspective, then it makes sense for you to learn for yourself and master those things before you teach somebody else. So why not you become a personal trainer? You know, a question even for me though. We're talking about mastery here, a dynamic where a trauma is transformed into mastery. The video is done and thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next videos. If you have any questions, comments, or observations, please leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Bye.